Hello, this is Philip He, the guide of your trip Wonders of Yunnan. I was born and educated in Ganzi, Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture of Sichuan Province, and now I live in Chengdu. I'm a birder, photographer, and a cultural enthusiast. I've worked in the travel industry for nearly 20 years. I have traveled around China and the world extensively, and also I have led trips to almost every part of China, including trips to different parts of Yunnan. In this trip, I can show you wonderful birds. We will see if you have interest in birds. I will explain to you the rich and diverse ethnic minority culture in Yunnan and help you to get best images of the local people and the sceneries. Anyway, I will do my utmost to make your best travel memories. Now, please allow me to share with you some of the information you may have interest about this trip. Let me first talk about what makes this trip special. In other words, the trip highlights. Well, this trip will show you the multiple sites of Yunnan, also known as the South of Clouds. One of the highlights in this trip is that you will be able to see the rich and diverse ethnic culture in Yunnan province. You know, in China, we have totally 55 ethnic minorities, while in Yunnan province, they have 24 of them. In this trip, we will see around 10 ethnic minorities, including Han, Yi, Zhuang, Buyi, Yao, Hui, Miao Mongolians, Bai, and Laxi, as well as their villages, costumes, and some of their festivals. Well, the second highlight of this trip is that you will see the stunning natural sceneries and spectacular man-made wonders created by ethnic minority people living in that place. So just to name a few: the stone forest, the karst caves, waterfalls, terraced rice paddy fields, red soil lands, and earth forests. And also in this trip, you'll see a great number of local villages, markets, and trade fairs. And in these places, you will get opportunities to understand ethnic minority culture and their lives and capture their best shots in this trip. Sure, food is always an important part of a trip. Well, in this trip, you will have lots of opportunities to sample the delicious local food in local restaurants by different ethnic minority people. Well, I think another thing, or another highlights, we think is very important, but very few local people, very few travel agencies will show to you, is the curious but smiling faces of local people. Well, some of the places in this trip are seldom visited by foreigners, so local people may have the same level of curiosity toward you as you have for them. So get prepared. And well, the smiling faces you encounter will make you always feel at home. And next, I will give you some information about the itinerary. So look at the map. So this trip lasts for about 15 days. It starts from Kunming, the capital of Yunnan province. Well, our first sightseeing stop is a stone forest, which is also a World Heritage Site. And we'll stay one night there. And next morning, we'll drive to Luoping, can be known as a kingdom of red seed flowers. En route to this kingdom of red seed flowers, we can pay a visit to one of the most beautiful karst cave, Jiuxiang Karst Cave. And we'll spend the whole day exploring this area, including Jiulong Waterfalls, Lubuge Gorge, Doyihe River, and then we will drive to Chubei. The next morning, we'll pay a visit to another stunning site, Puzehei, before we drive on to Bamei, which is known as a paradise hidden in the mountains. So after visiting Bamei, we'll drive toward our next destination, Yuanyang Terraced Paddy Fields. We'll spend 2 days here exploring the man-made wonders created by the diligent Yi and Han people. To visit the local markets and talk with local people, visit local villages. And after Yuanyang, we will drive on to Tonghai, the only Mongolian village in Yunnan province. And on our way to this village, we'll visit another karst cave called Jiansui Swallow Cave. And then we will drive further north to Dongchuan to see the red soil before we drive on to our next destination, Yuanmou, to see the Earth Forest. After Earth Forest, we drive back to Kunming, and then we will have some easy exploration in the city, and then we'll take you to the airport and say goodbye. Sure, you may feel a little bit boring with this information, so now I'm going to show you some of the photos we have taken in our past trip. So this is a stone forest, which is quite close to Kunming City, and it is also our first stopover place. Well, it's not possible for us to show all those wonderful photos of these places, so we can only show you a number of them, just to give you an idea what kind of places you are going to see and visit. This is Jiuxiang Karst Cave. Well, we have lots of photos about this site, so we will only show you 2 of them. One, this is actually one of the exits of this karst cave. Another one is the waterfalls. So we want to leave the space to your imagination, how wonderful they are. So we purposefully keep all the other photos we took inside the cave, so that you will get a surprise when you get there and you can enjoy it much better. Well, this is Luoping, and watch the local ox-pulled carts. Well, this is possibly the only place you can still find out this kind of means of transportation in China. So watch the beautiful decorations on the cart made by the local people. So it's used as an important means of transportation, and also they used for wedding ceremonies. Unfortunately, the day when we visit Luoping, a little bit misty, and also the red seed flowers are not in full blooming yet, but you can still see. Well, you may feel this place a little bit similar to Guilin. Yes, it enjoys the same beauty as in Guilin, because they are neighbors, they are next to each other. And the beautiful rape seeds, flower fields. And then you can see in this trip, you will get a lot of opportunities, see local people with their grandchild or child. Well, look at the way she carried the basket. This is still the traditional way how ethnic minorities carry their basket. And then you always see the old folks sitting by the street and the chat or look at you with the curious eyes. This is a Lubuge Gorge. It is also famed as the Minor Three Gorge. So very beautiful gorge. And in our trip, we saw an artist painting on a boat. So normally we will take this kind of boat to see the beautiful sceneries along this river. This is a water wheel used by local people. And then we can see this is an old lady. She's running a small barbecue stand and selling barbecued fish and some other stuff. Well, watch the costume. Obviously, she's as a minority, Puyi people. And this is very typical scenery around Loping. And then the village you see here is actually a Zhuang village. They use mud to make their walls when they build their houses. We were so lucky in the previous trip when we went there, we saw an engagement ceremony. So the two groups. One group is from the bridegroom's family, another one is from a future bridegroom's family, or another one is the bride's family. So the bridegroom's family, they want to get the permit for this marriage. So they need to sing a song to defeat the other side so that they can get the marriage. So always they have to be very careful to choose the singers. Well, here is a picture to the paradise hidden in the mountains, Bamei. So we have to take this kind of boat and go through this cave to get into the village. And here is a picture showing how beautiful this small village looked like. This village was surrounded by the high mountains. Another picture showing you this beautiful village. And the people there, very friendly. And this is actually the picture of the cave taken from inside. So we need to take the boat to go through this cave. And you can see here, people still take their traditional way of life, herding their ox and then collecting the firewoods when they herd their ox back home. And this is another beautiful picture to show how it looked like when you get out of this cave. Then we will have a stop in this county town, Guangnan. In our previous trip, we saw exhibition show there. We also saw a poor bird. We really hate this bird to be caged like this, but this is a Chinese tradition. It is really hard for us to change. So the bird is called Huamei because it's a beautiful course, so it has been heavily caged around the whole China. Then we came to the beautiful and also I think spectacular wonders of the world made by the human beings, the terraced paddy fields. The time we visit is a time when the people fill with those party fields with water. So the reflection of the sunlight in the early morning or in the late afternoon can be extremely attractive. Then the local people still collect firewoods from the mountains, and they still use this kind of tractors. Well, it is really hard for you to see in other parts of China now. Then the local people in the local village, local market, and this old lady is still using their old method to weave cloth to make their old costume. And this unmarried lady, you see the beautiful costumes. Generally speaking, normally the lady will make her old clothes to show she not only has a beautiful faces, but also has a very beautiful heart and a very skillful hand. In Yunnan, you also see this kind of costumes or this kind of clothes, which is widely wearing in 1970s or early 1980s, but now it is hard for you to see them in other parts of China. Then local market is always a fascinating place for you to understand the local agricultural produces and also the local costumes, and you can even talk with local people with a gesture, and they really like it. This lovely old lady, and she's just got some vegetables from the market, and well, during our trip, you see lots of them. You get lots of opportunity to photograph this kind of a costume and this kind of dresses and this kind of people. And then this is architecture near the terrorist party field. Actually, it's a shrine. The architecture is a very typical Chinese architecture. Another photo of the terrorist party fields. And then I think this is another photo we took. We really like the smiles of the old man, and also the way he looked at you, with curious eyes. So we want to show you the best part of the Chinese culture. So actually, in this trip, it is not possible for us to show everything you will see. But even if it is possible, we will not do so, because we think travel is an art, and art is not a repetition of one same model. So we always will try our best to find out those unpredictable, exciting moments which happen during your time of travel and incorporate them into your trip to make them part of your unforgettable travel memories. Thank you.